Engineer Felix. It's nice to have you on the show today. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Israel. It's nice having me here.
Okay, so tell us about DAX Group, and we know that your portfolio is such a very big one that if I want to start breaking it down, it may take us a long time. So can you just briefly just tell us about your portfolio?
Okay. Well, DAX Group is a company I started many years back upon graduation. So, it has yielded a lot of things and has brought us to where we are today. But now, in the last 2 years, I started a project, and it stemmed from my doctoral research on how to contribute to my nation, Nigeria. I began to think, how do we contain unemployment and poverty? See how to regress it in Nigeria and Africa in general. And now maybe to found a company called BMI Finishing School. It's called Business Matters Incubators Finishing School. So that's exactly what I'm championing or advocating, to see how we begin today to incubate more entrepreneurs into the Nigerian space. So I would say that that's one thing I like talking about. Other things, the company I built, still building, is there. I'm an entrepreneur of many years, and I started when I was 11, and I learned at my mother's store, and looking at my dad as my mentor. So it has brought me so far where I am today. But my biggest dream now is to see how Nigeria can regress poverty by pulling so many youths out of poverty, so many families out of poverty, and that will come based on what they know, because people you are what you know. When we say entrepreneurs, it depends on what you know. So that's what makes the person a great entrepreneur.
So tell us about BMI. What are you hoping to achieve? Like why this particular time? Why are you doing it now? What are you hoping to achieve with BMI?
Yeah, oftentimes, like BMI is the initiative there is CTY, Catch Them Young. So we have what is called BMI CTY. All this while we've been having BMI when we talk to youth, talk to UCO members, but we found out that at that stage they had already formed opinion about life. They want to grab money. That's why you see a lot of our youth being recruited into camps where they call HK to go and train on 419 or how to do fraud. And they're being taxed, they're being pushed into it. The other day in Delta State, you know what happened? They recovered above 100 small youths of their 18, 17, 20, within that bracket. It pains my heart when I see our youths building a future that is not sustainable. So I began to research, and I found that the best time to, change the mindset of a person is when the person is young. That's when the person is forming that mindset. Society helps someone to form mindset. School helps someone to form mindset. Families, parents, parenting helps someone to form mindset. And we began to do that research. Why I was doing was my doctoral research. And with all the empirical data, I found out that, wow, that entrepreneurship can actually be taught, can actually be learned. Not unlike what people say that entrepreneurs are born. Not true. Entrepreneurs can be made. So, and the environment helps to mold someone to become a better entrepreneur. Someone like me, I came from a part of the country called Newi. We have a lot of my uncles, my parents, they're all entrepreneurs. Being in their circle helped me to build a mindset that I would want to build my own company. And that has helped me. So I believe that if we create such environment around children of today, we won't be having all these criminal activities, kidnapping, fraud, all kinds of things, and poverty will reduce, because entrepreneurs are the builders of nation. Entrepreneurs are the ones that create wealth for any nation. Any nation you see that is prospering, shake it, it's just free market economy that is driving it. What you have in China, what you have in the US, and in all the places, is just pure free market. And there are entrepreneurs that are building it. They're the one creating jobs. They're the one that are, creating a very robust, a very dynamic business landscape. It's only entrepreneurs that can do it. So I said to myself, why don't I begin to advocate so that we change our school curriculum? Because we have imported curriculum from overseas, from the West. Their economy is different from our own. Their culture is different from our own. So we want to push it down, or push it down the throat of our children. And they're resisting it. More or less, you have not created the enabling environment for them to go through that studies and come out and you grant them jobs. There are no jobs. So when they believe that there are no jobs, they begin to think of the fast way to make it, because they see their friends making it. But until we change their mindset, it has to start from when they are young, 7, 8, 9, between age bracket age 7 to 14. A child would have, developed that self-esteem, developed that self-reliance. The child would have been able to develop that mentality that he can stand on his own, and even resilience, accountability. That's what we need to build into children, and for them to become what they should be. That's what Nigeria should be thinking about now.
Okay, great concept. I must say this is a great concept you have there, and a very good proposal. So I want to ask, what model do you think should be adopted? Like, should entrepreneur be a subject in primary school, or should it be secondary school, or what model do you propose to be adopted for this?
Okay, right now, what Nigeria has currently, because obviously Nigerian policymakers are thinking, but where they are pushing it, at that point, it's difficult to even maximize the potentials. That's at the university level. Now, in the secondary schools, they have what they call Introtech and the rest of things. Those were great initiatives that could not yield, because suddenly it turned academic. So, but what I'm looking at is where they start from, maybe primary 4, that's basic education. In Nigerian system, primary school is 9 years. Stemming from Professor Balfafunwa's committee, they set up 3-3-4 system, which means that a child goes through junior primary, so-called senior primary, comes to secondary school and do another junior secondary 3 years, another junior in the distance. So if I remember the system again, it's called 6-3-3-4. So what it means that there will be 9 years of primary school. That 9 years of primary school means from primary 1 to primary 6 to JSS 3. So what I'm proposing is, why don't we, start entrepreneurship education at primary school? You can start it from primary 4 to JSS 3. Now, I looked at it and we started creating tools for it, methodology, because it was a research work. We use a lot of, we use the primary and the secondary data to create what we are saying, and we know end to end that it is going to work. So now, if these children will start, it's not just academic thing, but something hands-on, craft, skill acquisition, vocational training. Now we wrap it with entrepreneurship, because it's one thing to teach someone how to paint, but you have not taught the person that he can be innovative. You have not taught the person financial management. You've not taught the person financial literacy. The person could make that money and blow it up without thinking of how to become a bigger painter and an employer. So, but now when a child who learned how to do tiling, who learned how to do fish farming, who learned how to do animal husbandry, has the mindset of an entrepreneur, he'll be looking at innovative ways of, doing those things. And that's what we call entrepreneurship. There will be creativity. in every child, you have this talent and creativity. All we need is to nurture it. All we need is to mentor them and give them the platform to work. And I mean, the children will surprise you at what they can do with those information and knowledge you grant. So I am soliciting. We already created all those tools. I'm soliciting that the policymakers who are already listening to hasten this initiative and let it be implemented without further delay.
A little digression. What role do you think government play or government should play in making of this entrepreneur, and not just making them, in sustaining them to make sure they are successful, like the Mark Zuckerberg, like the Elon Musk and the likes?
Most times people talk about government, government, government. I don't usually think that way. I believe in participation, public sector, private sector participation. Now, the government will give the enabling environment or the platform. So what happens at this point is government control the education system. And this thing, to mentor these children, they will need that system. That's where they begin to catch them young and they find them in their school by changing their entire culture, the way we approach education, and make it more systematic or more functional. So what I am thinking is that now government always have great initiatives. They have great initiative for those UCO members, and that's why they will train them for 3 weeks and avail them funds to the tune of 1 million, 5 million, But I don't see it sustainable because these people, they don't have the mentality of an entrepreneur. He goes out there, he sees something nice, he wants to buy it, because you have not given them adequate training. So, but when they grow with certain culture, like what you have in every professional, if you see great professionals, they started at age 6, sign up a club, start training at their training from when they are young. And those in the music, the same thing applicable. They start from church choir, and today they are great professionals. So we are believing that if the government, which has great plan for the youth, in the last broadcast, our president talked about the youth confab. The youth confab. Now think about the population size. There are over 60 million youths in Nigeria. Who are you going to talk to? What is the sample size? Who are you picking? Maybe people who just want there to just go there and see what the government will give them and they go home. Now, we are going to talk about beyond just fire brigade approach, which is just in the now. Let's think of long term, where we groom these youths, because the 10-year-old child today, in the next 10 years, will become the youth we are talking about, will be 20. So we begin now to build them so that the problem we're having now with the youth bulge will not be sustained. By the time we deal with the ones that are into this trouble right now, giving us this headache, the ones you are grooming for the next 10 years will not give you the problem. So you solve the problem now by gathering them for youth confab. Then these ones that are growing to become youths in the next 5-10 years, you would have changed their mentality. So what I'm saying, that's why I say, let's go down and catch them young now. While we are doing that, the youth confab can continue. The solution to help the youth, at least bring them up from a fraud and the mentality they've already built in now, and grant them, opportunities here and there. Though it's going to be tough, it will require a lot of training, but we need to start now so that we don't have that problem in the future. And mark you, according to NBC start and projections, by 2050, Nigerian population will be doubling in size, if not approaching 400 million. And if the youth command 60% of this total population, then we're going to have bigger problems. So we are looking for more entrepreneurs who will come into this space. What the government will do now is government need to look at it from short, mid to long term. Plan for those that are here today by organizing the youth confab, great initiative, and also quickly change our curriculum or the curricula between the secondary and the junior secondary. So when you are teaching them craft, when you are teaching them skills, when you are teaching them those vocational things, make sure they are entrepreneurs. Because if they're not entrepreneurs, they will just be artisans. And then at the end of the day, they will not solve the problem you want them to solve. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. And that's exactly what we need in Nigeria today.
To be an entrepreneur is not easy. I mean, you have journeyed through that road, and you have so much experience in that. For somebody that is looking to buy your idea, like an entrepreneur looking to go into entrepreneurship, what are the things the person should look forward to on the road? What are the rough parts, the challenges, and what should the person do to be able to scale through and become successful?
Number one is to have the intentions. I want to be an entrepreneur. It starts from there. Now, what am I going to do to become an entrepreneur? That's the second question you ask. You need to train. You need to learn. You need to, condescend to learn from those people that have gone before. Now, that process of learning does not stop. Even as an entrepreneur, till tomorrow, I'm still learning because it's very dynamic. When it changes, you need to, till that way, you need to follow the economy the way it changes. So doing business in Nigeria as an entrepreneur is very challenging. And most of the time when I talk about entrepreneur, it's not only people who go to do business. There are people they call intrapreneurs, people who you employ. When they come, they think like the founders of that business. They're entrepreneurs, and they bring a lot of innovations and initiative, and the creativity into the business where they work. They are intrapreneurs. So when I talk about entrepreneurs, I'm not just basing it on people who do buying and selling. No, entrepreneurs are people who are talented, who use their talent and monetize their talent. They're entrepreneurs who are creative, who are doing all kinds of things. So when we talk about the journey of an entrepreneur, it's not easy, especially when you are in a kind of ecosystem like Nigeria, where a lot of things, give a blow at the entrepreneur. When there are policy changes, it gives a blow at the entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur must build that resilience. That's why we say part of the training of an entrepreneur is resilience. The ability to withstand shock, ability to stand, ability to reinvent in the course of setback, to walk yourself back. I've had several setbacks in my life, but I didn't take my life. There are people that when they have such setbacks, they take their life because they are not well-trained entrepreneurs. So an entrepreneur is someone who looks out for problems to solve, take the risk, because the risk, both your capital you are involving and your time, is pure risk. It's either it works or it doesn't work. So when you find out that it doesn't work, you find a way that it works, or you look for another thing that can work. Then it's a mentality. You must, like I said, you must be ready for entrepreneurship, especially in Nigeria. And also, I want to say that government is bringing up some initiatives that will help, that will make the place, that will help in the infrastructural rejig, because the infrastructure is really bad for an entrepreneur. You don't think about NEPA. Sorry for mentioning NEPA. You think of power.
Electricity. Yes. Power.
Yeah, electricity. You think of power. You think of funding, because the funding today, unless people will get at single-digit interest rate, it will be difficult to survive in an economy that is growing at below 4%. So you don't give somebody loan at 40% and expect him to, to blow. Let me use the language of the young boys, to make money from it when the actual economy of the nation is growing at a very slow pace of less than 4%. And you are charging. So in as much as the monetary policy makers are looking at how to contain inflation by regulating what they call both exchange rate and interest rate. However, it is adverse to the entrepreneur, but it's something that is transient. It's something that if they get it right, in the near future, everything is going to normalize. But what happens is that when some entrepreneurs hit such a brick wall, they tend to go back. But when you hit it, you stay there and continue until you break through. So an entrepreneur is someone who has built a mindset that come what may, come rain, come shine. You always know that life is sinusoidal. It goes up, it comes down. So in every business, there are times, there are seasons. When it is off season, you remain put because that season will come back again. So these are the mentality that an average entrepreneur must build over time to become an entrepreneur. And when you get it in the children, and they grow with it, Nobody can take it from them. The Holy Book said that train a child in the way he should go. When he grows up, he will never depart from it. Let Nigeria as a people and the government now begin to train children now in that line of entrepreneurship. That's the only way out of poverty. If you have more entrepreneurs, they will, get the system to work. They know how to. The entrepreneurs know what is called capital formation. They know how to save and to invest. They know where to invest. When they invest well, then the business will open, employ more people into the system. So these are things we're saying, that we need more entrepreneurs, saying that government will create how many jobs, youth go to NMPC, how many jobs can they get?
Today, when you mention the word entrepreneur, what comes to most people's mind is technology, tech, and all that. Is there a relationship between an entrepreneur and technology?
Yeah, when you talk about entrepreneurship is a broad thing. It houses everything. Any space where you are solving problem, you are an entrepreneur. So you have tech entrepreneurs. You have entrepreneurs in every field. You have social entrepreneurs. It depends on, you have entrepreneurs who are manufacturers. You have entrepreneurs who are in the education. How about any sector that is doing well? Once you bring entrepreneurs there, they help. Like you have in Nigeria today, Nigeria started having problem of fuel and PMS and all these problems we started having. It took an entrepreneur to build a refinery. So all these things about entrepreneurship. So let me connect what you mean by tech now. Now, tech entrepreneurs are the problem, people who are coming to solve the problem there. Like you have the fintech. Why we're using StreamYard today, someone discovered it, that person is making money out of it. It was a risk. The person is a tech entrepreneur. So today we are using it to achieve other things. So you have in Zoom, you have in all these things. They are in America, like the world is changing. The landscape is evolving. So what gives money today majorly is if you have a breakthrough in tech or in the medical field, you have more money now because the world is looking out for, solution to a lot of things. Anywhere you prefer solution, you're an entrepreneur. So there is no separation between tech entrepreneur and the other entrepreneur who maybe are a trader. Even those people who are traders, who are just importing goods to sell, they are not pure entrepreneurs. They are part of they are practicing part of entrepreneurship, which is bringing something from the real entrepreneur who has manufactured it and helping the gross national product of his nation and ship it to Nigeria. We import it, we sell it. What we're doing is just like a middleman thing, take it from factory and give it to end user. That one is a different thing. The entrepreneurs, yet it's not what we're looking at. We're looking at who are those entrepreneurs who will now come in and manufacture those products and help gross domestic product of the nation and also enhance the per capita income of the people by creating more employment. I think that's where I will leave it. But it's still the same. It's one and the same.